Royal family, blessed love, blessed love. Thanks to each and every one. Yes, Royal family, give thanks for coming in at this moment. Give thanks, Honorable Kes Westmore, also with us. Blessed love to the international community, what a joy and happiness, and give thanks to the oneness of life, and give thanks for this moment of celebration. Heart of celebration, four winds universal, earth, sky, and sea, Holy Emmanuel eyes. Last. Royal family, again, welcome to another edition. Talking about the Welcome to the House of Priests, nightly exclusively a radio annual program. Talking about the Priest Isaac Institute of Holistic Knowledge, priestisaachinstitute.com, radio annual priestisaachinstitute.com, and give thanks to those who will be seeing the premiere streaming even on the YouTube Radio Anu TV. Give thanks, Royal family, for your presence with us. And before we go too deep into the depths of the program, I will ask the Honorable Priest Kes Westmore, pardon me, Honorable Priest Richie, to bless us with a introductional creed where we just bless the Royal House, bless the Royal family at this celebration moment. So, Honorable my Lord, give thanks for your presence with us, looking shine and bright and beautiful at this moment. Heart of celebration.
Heart of celebration, Black God. Give thanks to life. Give thanks to the Royal family again, as we go into international reverence before we go into the fullness of the matter. Well, Emmanuel eyes, Rastafari. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, to the Holy One of creation. As Jah was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, Jehovah without end, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for us, brethren and sisters, to dwell together in unity and love. It's like the precious ointment that ran up upon the head, that ran down the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, as the dew that sent upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord command his blessings, even life and love forevermore. We give thanks to life and love forevermore. We give thanks to the resurrection of the Black House of Israelite. We give thanks to the resurrection of Iron as a people, God in flesh, Goddess in flesh, where we are from creation, where we shall evermore be from this time henceforth and forevermore. We give thanks to life. Above all things, we give thanks to our Trinity, Godhead, Emperor Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Blessed happiness, blessed joy upon this beautiful day, my Lord.
Majesty, give thanks.
Give thanks to life.
I know that all is well in your department.
All is well, please. All is well. We give thanks.
Love life. Yes, my Lord. Yes, my Lord. So again, just give thanks, celebration moment going throughout the earth. And today is the 10th of December. Just reaching out to the families, interesting celebration that we keep as Bobo Shanti, as Rastafari. It is not really a celebration that you hear other Rastafari talk about, like the 7th of January or the King Earth Day or Liberation Day. It's unique really to I and I as Bobo Shanti. And it's very unique too. We have an interesting way about it, wherein that it was called up in 1993. It may appear to be just like a one-off thing, but ones have kept up the anniversary of this celebration that was summoned in 1993 by our father, the Honorable King Emmanuel. And I say it like that because in 1994, a year after he wasn't, in our presence like that, to say, well, we'll start a second one. He was an interesting feast.
Months after.
Months after, yes. It was an interesting feast, because that's the whole idea of the feast, where he said he was going to make a move, and call for ones to come in delegation. One wasn't too clear on what the making a move thing was all about. But so this evening I wanted us to touch upon it physically and spiritually, as concise as we can. Physically meaning that for sure it's the Declaration of Human Rights Day. And that is something we have been talking about for a couple of programs now, the human rights and justice and the father, King Emmanuel, is the champion of human rights and the principles that he stood for. And then, you know, in the other half of the program, maybe we can get into the spiritual aspect, because what we understand, I mean, when a man telling you he looking to make a move, and he's sending you to get certain items, and the old people asking you who is going to die. That is what the word that come to me, you know. So there's a lot of spiritual vibes within it that we can also get into. But as I said, the human rights and justice, 10th of December, Human Rights Day, you know, also a very spiritual day in the heavens, the rising of Orion. So there's a lot of mystics that really surround this day, the 10th of December, what we as Bobo Shanti refer to as the Feast of the Passover, Holy Emmanuel, I, Selassie,
Right.
So God and King, you know, anyway that I feel that I should start, but of course, it will be good to even hear any knowledge that they have on the actual day itself. But I was always interested to know what the anniversary of the celebration is like. True, maybe I had never been on the hill, you know, especially in the 90s and the early 2000s when man celebrating the anniversary of it. Because I know certain things took place on that day that man don't keep up, you know what I mean? Certain rituals that took place as such that we don't continue, obviously. But I would like to know, you know, what I know from the elders as it relates to that specific day. And then maybe we can go into keeping up of the anniversary. Anyway, I want to begin on your levels. My Lord, blessed Lord.
Give thanks, life, above all things, my Lord. So, you know, the fullness is that, you know, we give thanks to such a day, 10th of December again, International Human Rights Day. There's so many mystics about that date, this date, the 10th also, and the 12th month also. And when you look at, you know, International Human Rights Day, it was even the 10th article that United Nations told Jamaica government, you know, to bring up this man, you know, within Article 10 again, you know. Everyone has a right to free and public hearing by an independent, impartial tribunal in determination of his rights and obligations. So, and in the criminal charge against him. So that 10 is a very powerful, not just a day, but when you look at it again as a human rights day, it's Article 10. They said, bring this man up, you know. So we give thanks, you know, well, when I reached to the foundation in 1997 still, you know, and we see the activity keep up still, right? But speaking to some angels that were before I and I, like, for example, Prophet Veron, you know, Priest Archibald, those angels that came within that specific moment of time when the Father had made a move. And they were telling I that how I see the celebration going, you know, when they just came to the foundation, because remember, they came to the foundation right after that moment. Yeah, they say it's one of the biggest celebrations they ever see. But as the years roll on, it's not celebrated as big, gigantic as the other celebrations. Not knowing if it's just because it was fresh. You say fresh, you understand? So man and man keep it up, but as the years roll by, you don't see angels, because the brethren used to tell I, you see trucks coming full of food and everything. It was that moment of time that people really talked about. But as the years roll by, you know, you don't see ones and ones really keep it up like that, you know. You know, you don't see hearing people speak about it as much, I would say, you know. That is honestly speaking there. And I remember one year, you know, it was really, it wasn't celebrated as a celebration, but I remember that angels wanted to continue the same thing.
I hear you.
Yeah, that, you know, people decided that they want to, you know, sacrifice the animals and all the things same way, you know, and man have to cut it out. And she said, no, man, it was just for that moment of time there. You understand? So, yeah, that was it at that moment of time. But it's a time now it reached to the point now in not just the Feast of the Passover. Man will speak of the Feast of the Passover, but man even more speak about the Human Rights Day. Even more. You know, man will link it. It's the Feast of the Passover Day, but when you observe it, man will speak of what the day really signify on an international level more than even that moment of time. You understand? So when the man say International Human Rights Day, man will say it's even the feast of the Passover day. You understand? So the young angel will come and celebrate, but you don't see a lot of ones that come up. But in my observation, it's really a time where I see angels come in, like elder age virgins and sisters coming at that time. Always look and see someone new come in at that time there. You know, because remember, before that time, the Father was really calling angels to come in. Angels were being called to come in at that moment of time there. And, some did take heed to the word, and some probably delay, and some come in years after. They just make the chart, and some when they come in, they just find out that what mistake, what really happened and what took place. You understand? Yeah, so millions are on their journey, and still there's room for a million more.
Yeah.
But within everything, it's a human rights day, Universal Declaration of Human Rights Day. It's also a day that the world, as I said a while ago, not well, many ones will celebrate the feast of the Passover. As you said it, I just realized that the world doesn't even celebrate, the nations of the world don't even recognize the International Day of Human Rights also.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's only now you kind of hear a few people rising it up.
A few people. And it's still like the same few percent from that time. But because of the access now to social media and these things now, you will hear it even a bit more.
So that was so on the date itself then, 1993 then. That was a big aspect of that celebration, the human rights aspect. Because I never get that feedback as like, hey, this is what we're talking about today. This is the agenda, human rights. I more get the vibes, I'm going to make a move.
That's the vibe, but not everyone knew that it was a move that was going to make.
Right.
Because as I was speaking to even and every prophet Clive, because he's one of the persons that really speak about that more than how I could hear other elders speak about it. Because he was the one that really got a word like that. And it was like months after, like someone then said, what is the meaning why the Father keep that feast? And he himself didn't know what the meaning was. And the elder woman looked at him and said, anytime a spiritual leader is going to make a move, he calls for a feast. And that was the thing, anytime. And when you look at it, even the movement of the Father, these angels that observe these things and find out these things, they play that very important role in even when the Father put on that physical structure there on May 31st, 1994. They were like the angels that were running up and down and calling that person and getting that person, those same persons. So within that movement now, a lot of revelation even come up onto them because they start to study everything that's really taking place at that present moment of time. Still, everyone has their testimony of things that took place within that moment of time there. Because, for example, you have angels that study the services at that time. Right? Angels that study the services at the moment of the time that the Father made the move. And then they'll tell you about the scriptures that were read, like the Sabbath before and the fasting service and all of these things that took place within that moment, But speaking on that day, it's a day where certain angels will still keep it up, continue to bring to remembrance, to speak of that, because it is something that is very significant, even to us as Baba Shanti, to really study the whole spiritual aspect of what took place. You understand? And not just what took place there, but it even sent us further in history to realize that this is something that all great men did. before they made a move. All great men made this movement. It was a gathering. It was the washing away of sins, everything. And a brand new. It's like a brand new page. Like a Washput tradition say, forgive all thy sins, be forgiven thee. Nothing are between you and your brother and your sister. It's a new page. And this is what I've done. I've made you all clean, all whole.
Feast of the Passover, man.
Feast of the Passover. Because there was really a Passover.
You know, I thinking if I should bring this in this conversation, but I think I'm gonna bring it in. It's a reasoning about, one was asking me as it relates to life and death then, and as we speak life, and maybe Rastaman don't want to speak too much death and so on. So but I was saying now it's a very deep reasoning, it's a very deep conversation, because my outlook was that, first of all, and you have to really think when you get into this, and first of all, we didn't know about death. Now that's first of all. Now you might say, what do you mean we talk about? Like in Africa, we never know. I listen to the elders speak. I read the elders what I'm writing, and they clearly said that we in Africa, we never had a concept of death.
Right.
So you try to tell me, man, does live forever, never, you believe that? No, it's not the live forever, everything, But whatever took place in the natural way and nature, we never had that concept that it was what if them come and tell us about death, so we said, what are you talking about?
Right.
My father, he died, and a lion jumped out of the forest and ate him. Oh, that what I mean. Well, listen, first of all, we are people, that's very important,
Yes.
My reasoning to the family was this: listen, if you really, as a historian, most of us, history began like 4,000 years BCE, when you have the unification of Northeast Africa, when King Nama or Menes united ancient Egypt or ancient Kemet. That's really where you have history, beginning around the Sumerian kingdom, and maybe a few hundred years prior to that, you have some archaeological discoveries that hint at history prior to that. But obviously, I mean, history is way before that, but I'm talking about history that we know in the books, what we understand. Now, what I'm saying, Garden King, according to anthropology now, modern humans, people like me and you, modern humans go back at least 200,000 years ago. So between 200,000 years ago and 5,000 years ago, where we really start catch up on history, there's a long gulf of time between that, where we were doing things. Now, I'm positive. Listen, I don't want to get way out here. I don't want to get dogmatic, and I surely don't want to get religious. But I am positive that the human structure can live in the right environment. And I'm going to be minimal with this, at least 400 years. I know it's beyond that, but just for conversation, just so I don't lose nobody. In fact, let me just bring it to 300 years. No. I'm going to show you why. I mean, way beyond that, but I'm going to show you why. Just for the sanity of the discussion.
Surely.
Because if people can live in the metropolis and eat all sorts of junk and live to be 115, look, our sister in Dominica lived to be 127 in Dominica. You understand? So that alone shows you that there had to be a time when the environment was so pristine. That's before we cooking food. That's even before we eating vegetable. That's when we were just eating fruits alone. Where no cars around, no lights. When I say lights, no, none of them kind of things that bring
natural light.
Okay, good. Now, this is my point, my lord. I'm coming right forward to the point that I was making, just for the family to understand why we never saw that. Number one, we never died. What you mean? This is what dying is: heart attack, cancer, You jump off the bridge. Somebody come and rap on the door. Hey, come quick, Curtis, in a breathing. Them is what you call dead. Now, when in our agency, we used to look, I'm 350. Hey, listen, call the family together. I think I want to refresh myself. Just like that, you know. Call the family together. And the family come together, maybe hundreds of people. You might give people time to cross from the valley, come over the hill. Because the big chief said, he ready to refresh himself and come in the next body. That's how we saw him. He's 400 years now. He just decided, listen, man, call my son. My son is 350 years old. Tell him to hold on. I'm going to come again. In fact, I might come through his line. So look out for me. James Small, Professor James Small, has a lecture where he explains, everybody know James Small, that when he was young, when children were born, the old people, auntie and granny would come and look at the baby and say, who this one returned? Who this one returned? That's James Marley. That's just 70 years ago. That's not no long time thing. So I'm just trying to show you the kind of energy we had as a people. So the dying thing, it wasn't even in our vocab. We never understood what they're talking about. Remember, they have cancer, you know. What you call it, hepatitis, all them little diseases that lick them up, that swell up the head, that the ear, they get black, all kind of things happen to them. But we, in that time, maybe beyond history, I am positive there was a time when we would live to centuries, and it was our decision that, hey, listen, I think I can fresh up myself. And we knew how to take ourselves out too. We knew how to lay down there for 5 days and everybody outside having the feast and singing and celebrating, and we India. And then there's somebody say, hey, stop the singing. He gone now. He gone. Hey, he's gone. We're looking for him to come again. Although we don't have that in our books to prove it, I honestly know we already live them kind of life. My God.
That's a natural way of how I and I used to deal, because you see, that is why the honorary King Emmanuel Charles is this liberty that I and I receive about the Sabbath, the purification of our life, and how we're supposed to live. And even as Rastafari, the environment that we choose to live in, a natural environment, away from the pollution. Because as day to day come now, and people reveal a lot of things, you hear medical doctors coming, you hear different spiritual gurus coming, and they're speaking of things where people say, hey, that's how we're supposed to live. This is the way the Rasta man is trying to be, that's been trying to tell you from that long time that this is it. But the Rasta man don't want to use that, him don't want to use it. For example, when I look at clothes and cloth and everything, as I was watching a program the other day within Uganda, they have this tree from Uganda wherein they scrape the bark of it and they run it through certain process and they get this cloth out of it. And the tree never dies, because after they skim the bark, what they do, they wrap the banana leaves around the bark and let the bark come back to its natural self. So the tree never dies. So there's so many things that we have done and continue to do, as we say, refresh yourself, because as you're speaking, and you said 300, 400 years. Look at that turtle.
Oh, man.
Look at that turtle that lives how many 100 years, as you say now.
Yeah.
If you're in your habitation, your habitat, why could people be they making all of these kind of movie and they say, there's a kind of animal that live there, man. So, and when they try to go in where the animal lives, they realize it's Asia. It lives in this deep forest. So when you realize, if you don't go into this deep forest and disturb this animal, that animal will continue living. Then you want to take this animal from out of its habitation to show to the public like it's a circus.
Yes,
so automatically you kill it. So just the same thing with I and I as a people. As I said, when it's time to move, it's time to move. And when you study everything again, there's not this long thing like you see people out here, they preserve people on fridge and how many days and they're waiting for much family members to come to go to a funeral. When the structure lay down, the structure returned to the day, you know, man say, what? I missed that. They say, yeah, man, him drop the structure that day, and is the next year they put him in there, because you understand the whole realms of the end with this reincarnation. So it's not to let this temple stay out there, this long moments of time and whatever, you see? So all of these ancient principles has left us. And it's the thing now we have to bring it to remembrance, because you see, just as you could sit in yourself, because many times I sit in myself and say, what if you eat in a natural way, natural water from the spring, and live in a clean environment? What is there to die? Spiritual realm, where does this thing from death come from? Where does envy, bad mind? Why would Christ himself, let's say, get rid of all of these things? Because you find out what anger does to the flesh. You find out what envy does to the flesh. You realize all these things, that not just the physical food that you eat, but the meditation and everything, what it brings forward. There's no one living in its creativity. When I say no one living in its creativity, we're in your mind. You make the thing in your mind, you go through. As Marcus Garvey said, everything that is around you is illusion. Man dies when man stops creating in his mind, because what is around is illusion. People worship and say, wow, look at that great thing, but you, the person that created it, know that there's greater things in you. So when you stop thinking, you stop creating your mind, you automatically dies. You understand? And this Western world now, it is there to affect your mind for you to literally die dead. You understand? Because it doesn't want you to advance, because there are so many things to affect the mind, to disturb the mind, disturb the meditation. That is why we agitate for our natural habitat. And that is where, again, human rights come again. All human beings are born free in dignity and rights, and everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of persons. And these are the what we're agitating for. The Father say, want a one room. And that was one of the things that many of the angels say. If Father say, want a one room, you know, people probably think it's a physical structure or whatever, but he want a one room, you know.
When this one was uttered, give me a little context.
Before he made a move, but he was saying that he wanted a one room. But after the movement, people start to realize and start put one and one together and say, oh, that's what you've been telling us from that time. Him going to make a move. Well, Christ did say, you know, there are many things I cannot tell you, you know, because you see, you wouldn't really understand. You understand? There are many things, because if you don't even comprehend what I've told you before already, if I should go into the higher realms, and you're taking so long to comprehend in that, because you're not practicing to go in that, I cannot tell you these things will be way above your heavens. You see, it's man never come to die. You understand? Man never come to die in the physical structure. But as you were speaking again, remember an eagle. An old eagle will go straight up in the mountains and beat his head and mash up himself, and different feathers will grow and come back fresh again on the sea. So that's our physical structure. As I said, every time an ancient born in the village, people will go even to the ancient of ancients, and we'll study the stars, the moon, the signs, everything, and realize that is so and so that has come back. That is so and so. That is why people could bring certain gifts to that child, because that child must enhance at this level. So there are certain, it could bring any gifts, you know, but there are certain gifts that have certain meaning for the spiritual growth of this child. Sometimes the father, the mother get a piece of property somewhere down there, because that's the environment that this child must grow in. They say, take up that child and bring it to so-and-so, bring it to Timbuktu. You understand that here, because this is who has come again, and this is where the knowledge is for this child to find himself, to grow. Because remember, you are there to help this child find himself, not because he's already himself, you know, but it's to let this child advance, to bring up to where he's naturally supposed to be. So we never come to die. And that is the whole thing people say, Rasta, when I talk about die and death and that. They actually push it on you and force it upon you, you know. They said, let God deliver him since he delighted in him. As the scripture says. He said he can't die. Yeah. But there's no death. Please.
And you rather worse when somebody drop out. Oh, well, I mean, how I say again? Yeah. But you know, you were saying the 10th of December, but even December really is 10 too, with the DEC is 10. We just say
Wow.
about even the 10th article of the Human Rights Charter. So to me, yeah, when I meditated still, as Human Rights Day, as the I, the King picked that they are, that day, this is the natural day, however it goes. It also show like a fulfillment, a apex towards his works, because a lot of the King work is really human rights. Really. So to bring it on that day is a mighty strength. But again, you know, there are different aspects on that day, you know, that day full of a lot of different mysteries. And even when it comes down again to the feast again, the feast part, very prophetic, because you know it's okay. Again, I did a program I know once and I get some fire for it. I was just asking a question, you know, and it had to do with voodoo, voodoo.
Voodoo.
Yeah, as in voodoo or voodoo. Killing goats and killing chickens is a big thing. That's how they do the thing, you know,
Yes.
and it's around them kind of vibration there. People making a move, ancestral energy. That's just what it is. You know, as I say, I young to this and I wasn't there in 1993. I just saying what I hear. It's not me. I didn't tell nobody to get no goats, nothing. I just talking the truth. And as a researcher, the activities of the day were very, 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 very similar to the voodoo tradition. And knowing King Emmanuel, you know, again, as the I just say, prophets and priests, old people meeting them, and you know, Jamaica, and Jamaica is a different kind of place. Jamaica is not just a Caribbean island. Jamaica has some kind of spiritual people in it.
Naturally.
Different kind of energy. I don't know how they preserve that, but they have it. For a couple of them islands have them kind of people there, you know. So they're still there up now, but it dying out, but they're there, you know.
Truly.
They're there, man. People that in the 80s and 90s, and much more so in that time, ones that may have already passed off, you know, there's this real ancient African spirit in them people, for sure. So when they tell it, when they telling you that, hey, who tell you to buy this here? You sure that's what you want? That size? Okay, and then they ask you, who can make a move? Make a move there while ago. Who can make a move? Who that shows you again the agency of the African tradition, the African understanding. Now, you know, it was a feast too. One said that a lot of people outside of the order came to that feast.
Right.
You know, and it was said that the that level of the feast was for the regular public, but apparently a few members of the choir participated. And you know, you always come, I always look at that scripture there when the Father was giving them manna to eat, angels' food. Because to me now, the manna now, that the manna is a next very symbolic vibration, the manna from heaven. I always see the manna as the order. I see the manna as morning devotion, but the order in general. Because the manna come down every morning.
Right.
And you can't save this morning manna for tomorrow morning. You have to come get some fresh manna. Plus, you can't get it on Saturday or Sabbath. And you get a double portion on Friday morning, which is double Sabbath. That's how I see it. So I see the manna that come down every morning is the devotion, the morning cup of tea. That's not even food, but it is called tea, you know. So remember now, once we're saying, listen, man, they can't just eat manna, you know. they remember, and the scripture said they remember the fish in Egypt and something else and something else. And God said, all right. And he sent them some quail. That's what the Bible says, and some fatted fowls. And they start digging into the fatted fowls, and he said that
in the midst of their camp.
Yeah, man, even while they're eating it, judgment come and start to come out the nose, all sorts of different things. And you know, I mean, it's interesting because it's a spiritual thing, you know, not mocking nobody. It's a spiritual thing because even the morning of 1994, the 31st of May, no, when that whole vibe seal up, many ones testify that a lot of ones got sick.
Yeah, man.
Not that because you got sick, you were one that partook, it could be all sorts of vibes. But the fact is that there was energy passing through. Ones were vomiting, ones got fever. That people that get sick tell me so, yeah, different priests and empresses. So it's just an energy. It's obvious that it's an energy, it's nothing to overlook. We don't even gone into the so-called burial and the world. It's just obvious. It's obvious. You don't have to be a believer. You don't have to be a bobo. You don't have to be nothing. You just have to see that this is not a mystic thing, a string of mystic events that just go down the line. I'm sure things happen in between the 10th of December, 93 and the 31st of May, 94 that I don't even know about. Maybe we don't even know of things of mystics happen between that time frame. Because that's a vortex there. From the time he say, I go make a move, to the time he make a move. That time space in between has to be powerful. Something must have been whirling around in between there that maybe we just have to check the history, go back to some of them pamphlets. The pamphlet we read the previous time, November. Okay, that was
1992.
Yes. And that's obviously, that was like a bringing down the curtains pamphlet.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So it's a vibes. That's the man. Just Idi Amin says so, no. And as they say, man, no like Rasta talk about die. But Marcus Garvey in his big speech, how much time he said death and die? And
yeah, man, I haven't gone to hell a million times for thee, man.
And
died much times for the same way. So Big Dad, as I said, Idi Amin said him know when him going to drop. You understand? So all of these things, but as I said, there are many things you cannot tell to people because they don't understand.
Yeah,
they don't get the fullness of it as yet, and you left them because remember, although the Father was there, people still have the illusion vibes in. Yeah. People still wondering if it's a Christ or not.
One confess that too. Now that they're old and elder, so
people still don't grasp the whole fullness of what the Father is showing, the God in flesh. Even the scripture again, Christ said, "How long must I be around you?" You understand? Let these things sink down in your ear. You understand? So there are many things, So when you look at it, even Priest Prince there, Priest Duval tell you that the goat should have been slaughtered before that time there. And it had to be slaughtered like minutes before the hour came down, because that was supposed to be done before the 6 o'clock came down. So that new day shouldn't even have come in, and it never take place already. So that had to take place before that 6 o'clock, that 6 p.m. come down there. And man tell you that, and when that happened, the showers that come down and these things.
I could only imagine. Wow.
Right. Yeah, man.
I'm a little controversial. So
as I speak of that, right now the show is coming down.
Rastafari, man. That happened on the Sabbath day. I hear a little.
Yeah, man, right before the Sabbath come down. And speak about that. Yeah.
Not before the 12 o'clock hour, before the Sabbath.
No, before it come down, right.
That's the God. And it was that night, the actual feast, or the Sunday?
The Sunday.
Sunday again.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Wow. Holy Emmanuel eyes last year. Yeah. Rastafari. I know we're going to soon seal up as we have some key time frame that we're working on, but yeah.
Remember these animals? Remember these animals were purging also.
Yeah, hyssop and others and
all of them things there, and just as how Christ and Moses, Father Moses showed these things go back to the earth, the blood go back to the earth, everything go back to the earth. You understand? Because when you look at it, how people eat and drink this, as you mentioned about death and everything again, how people kill animals and all of these things here more. There's no, even if they say they're eating this and the Bible tell them to eat that, there's no principle behind it. How they kill these animals. These animals are slaughtered in such a cruel, gruesome way that the people that eat these things do some gruesome acts. There's no cutting at the animal neck and sit with that, the blood go down there. Any feeble animal can be killed and people want to eat this and that, you understand? They don't preserve that. But if you study again, you see the elder people that used to eat these things. They were saying, it's that in there. It's Christmas, we eating that, you know. And they're sending the children every day and peel and the banana peel and make sure say it's still in the pen and all of those things. And they're killing that for Christmas, you know. And that fall year, that is what that, as I said, within this time in, the December time in. So these elder people used to preserve these things and just run and go to the butcher down there or go so and so. These elder people took care of what they were going to eat. Not running and say they're running to shop and go and buy that because Christmas coming, they run and buy that big turkey one. No, what they were going to prepare, they bought that from down in the year and was preserving this. Even if it's next year they're going to eat it, you know. They start to preserve that and make sure that come to the fullness of what they did, as I said. But everything is out of line. And it's, as I said, there's many things to study within that realms here because even the people that got called in the ballad call to see how the God in flesh prepare this thing to even give unto them.
We tell you. Wow.
Sanctified, and understand there's not, that is why some people say, you know, you have man in turban and brethren that participate, and some people done that before that time, but they'll tell you that bless and sanctify, you understand? And the Father give them, but it wasn't something that they continue. And even, you know, people don't preserve, as I said, people don't preserve those as it's supposed to be. You understand? The chicken, everything that people ate there. And there were certain things alone that was prepared there. There was fish, there was vegetable, there was everything because it's a feast.
Yes.
And it's not something that, you know, some people don't want to talk about it because they don't understand, but it happened. It happened and it took place. And it not just happened, it took place in a divine way. You know, so some people know with their temptations, you eat meat? You go and eat meat then? You understand? But it's still not picking up the whole fullness of what took place. And the Father called, come, one and all, come and dine. The Master calls you, come and dine. And as I said, ancient of times, say, get up my sons and daughters, let them hear what I have to tell them, because certain things were going to be uttered. There are many things that are going to be uttered. You understand? That is why sometime now some people will come and they'll come. That's why I always said angels again. There are certain things that the Father changed. And people don't realize and say, this is how it used to go in. And this is how it's supposed to go on Good Friday. And this is supposed to go on that time. And that's supposed to go on that time. But when you be called, when you were called, when certain changes going to make in the last, you never did come. So when you return now, you're going to return with the knowledge that you had. But see, you cannot dispute the knowledge that these people were around the Father that got this knowledge before we make a move. Which now you were once the teacher. Now they are younger than you. They have become your teacher to teach you this thing. For remember, you know, it was we shall stand before the king. And he said, what a gathering. What a gathering. It was new every morning. And I said, it's thy love. Then he said, Jerusalem, my happy home. You see it? But the one in the middle never changed. When the road is called up yonder.
Yes, wow.
You see it? So all of these things you have to realize down the line, there are changes, there are things that make place, that took place, because there's a movement. And, you know, just as there is a great historian and there is a man that study a lot of things, it's like, I always sit with angels and say, my Lord, you have to sit down and start to study what took place. For example, you go to the physician and you're sick, the physician say, okay, give me a retrace. How have you been eating like 2 months down the line? When did this happen to you? So you start to gather facts and put facts together, and you could realize, okay, this is what took place. That is what took place. And you could find out where the detour happened, what took place there, where the deterioration of things that took place. So when you study all these things and gather, you wasn't there, say, okay, what did Father say about that at that time? And you put ones and ones together. Because he told you, you know, in the scripture, he commanded, it said, do not leave out of Jerusalem until the Holy One come upon you. No one was supposed to leave, because you're supposed to sit now as counselors and put everything together. That means you could go out now in all the world and preach the gospel. And it's one doctrine, one gospel. Follow on with you all the way.
That's the bad.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Give thanks again, for such words. Yes, royal family again. We are here celebrating this marvelous moment, the marvelous feast of the Passover. And although a lot has been said, I can assure you there's still a lot more to be said, even on this subject area. But again, it's also Declaration of Human Rights Day. As we said, the different things that took place, human rights, between 1993, 10th of December, I think apartheid would have, symbolically dropped in South Africa in 94 when Mandela, when Mandela came to power. It's January 94, if I'm not mistaken. I think he released in 1990 and he came to power, ANC won in 94. But I know the father witnessed all these things here. And even
Pope.
What time?
I think it was 93, the Pope came to Jamaica too, 1993. So it's a terrible year that.
That was going there. I see.
Yeah, man.
What?
And kiss the ground. And kiss the ground.
Well, he has that.
There was a terrible accident. I remember that accident that happened out by Rosal there. Some children died too,
The same time?
Yeah, man, the same moments of time there.
Yeah. And Rwanda now. Rwanda, the genocide in Rwanda, it was for 100 days. So you go 100 days genocide. Right in the middle of that, the father make his move. Yeah. And Rwanda, again, is the red, gold, and green with the R. So you just for man to look into the mystics. 800,000 people got slaughtered, Hutu and Tutsi. But you, my Lord, give thanks in all interest of time and everything.
Every year, too, I remember just as I mentioned the Pope, there was this priest, another priest, Andrew, make a move out of the flesh. But those times he was a soldier there at Up Park Camp because, the soldier then was guard the Pope. And I remember him telling me that it's early that fella rise up in the mornings, and do what him have to do or whatever, But he tell me that he was one of the men that was on guard,
So you wake up early, the Pope wake up early in the morning.
Early. And do what he have to do.
What he have to do. Wow. The Pope.
Even that year there, when you study everything again on our priest Isaac, when the sacrifice and everything that took place there, washing, sanctification, 10th of December 1993, the seal up part of the year. It's a terrible thing,
Washing, sanctification. That was
man. That is a sanctification, is a cleansing, everything that took place. When you breathe the sacrificial of the animals and everything there, before they make the move, it's to say. It's a movement, And
I think that's the year I always hear about this feast, a full moon feast where the food was brought in the tabernacle and put on the floor. I think it's in October. And I think it was 93, but yeah, I can be corrected on that one. Nobody hold me to that. As far as
you mean the groundation?
I don't know what it was, but I think it's October and it was a full moon and all the food on a mat between the bandstand and the altar. And anyone had the food or somewhere like that. And it was on the ground too. You have to come in the top.
Groundation.
Sure.
Yeah, groundation celebration.
That's same 93?
I would have to check it to find it.
Yeah, well, give thanks. True, my Lord, we'll give thanks again, for all blessing, all strength, and thanks to the royal family for coming in this evening. Rastafari with us in our doings and saying, Manuel, Charles, Edwards, Marcus, Mosiah, Garvey. My Lord, I will ask thee to just bless the congregation with a sealing glory be, a sealing reverence, and, of course, a heart of celebration going out throughout the earth. Yes, my Lord, bless it.
Emmanuel, Selassie, Rastafari, glory be to the Father, and to the Son, to the Holy One of creation, As Jah was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, Jah without end, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slave and slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms, said the Most High God. We give thanks to thee, O blessed God of life. We give thanks to the Human Rights Day. We give thanks to the feast of the Passover, the Most High. If I bless and sanctify I and I as a people continually to walk within thy truths and thy rights, to observe thy laws and thy testimonies, because in them shall we find light, O the Most High. Give thanks to life. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, Kalamavi, Selassie, blessed love.
Yes, my Lord, give thanks and just guidance to the eye, full family, and even to the royal congregation, you know. Selassie. Yeah. Blessed heart of celebration.